Good afternoon. So Ravi, thank you for setting stage on research. My topic of this conversation today is Educator 4.0, and what I'm going to speak here today is all about disciplinary to transdisciplinary. Does that resonate? This is just original thinking. So the whole idea is to provoke you with thinking about research. And as you know, in the world of research, good or bad, everything translates into citation. So beat me if you want to on that. At the end of it, it will translate into some number which will get me there. Okay. So that being said, when I talk about Educator 4.0, disciplinary to transdisciplinary, what do I mean by that? I'll motivate this whole topic with a quote which says, "The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed." I'm sure you've been through this quote many a times, and you wonder, what does this mean? I am solving this problem every day. You are thinking about it every day. Here I am, a rookie, standing in front of you, trying to give you ideas through a quote which just seems fairly simple. So what does this mean? What does this quote mean? If I take this a little forward and say, hey, if I think about it, is really future here? Or are we working on something, or are we thinking about something which is just not here? You've heard so many ideas which Ravi spoke about in his research initiatives, which Tata Group out here itself is running. Think about some of these up here. These all are research-driven activities and talking about future. Brain and EI are merging. Elon Musk is all set to think about how he can develop capabilities which is working like a human brain. You think about AI, VR, and you're talking about language skills for an individual who needs to be in that area where that language has to be used. So if Chinese or Mandarin has to be spoken, and it has to be spoken in New York, then how you kind of learn that being in the Beijing busy streets and learn about that. You think about the other topic up here, which is about every adult in Bulgaria, their personal information has been lost. There's a cyber attack, and imagine the whole country's adult population and their personal information being lost. Neuromorphic chips, Intel is all out to bring out chips which you can insert in your skin and say, hey, how does that work? It's 1,000 times faster than the chips which are available today. Last but not the least, I thought CRISPR was a great thing to talk about in this whole context. The third designer baby, in all probability, is coming out in China. But what I read yesterday was even much more grave than this. There's a biologist in Sweden who's working on a challenge of embedding human DNAs back into animals and kind of generate industry around building up organs which can be used for transplant. So if you really think about it, we are talking about how do we think about building industry, academia connect. Professor Parasuraman talked about just a few minutes back about Vineet Nair and how he's kind of thought through his whole issues of learning a few things discipline-wise and then building them into transdisciplinary, and now the organization he's running. So some of these things are in and around us, and they are real. So if we kind of keep thinking about some of these things, you will say, hey, doesn't make sense. These are all gimmicks, and you can kind of let them pass. And some of the strategy professors or finance professors here will say, hey, show me the data. Would that be the question? Okay, so I thought I'll come prepared with a little bit of a data. So think about 47% skills which will turn redundant. Nobody else but very own Oxford. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the seminal work on skills of future. 47% of them are going to be redundant soon. 70% of the employers believe that they would need a different mix. This is Deloitte's MIT research, which is coming out very clearly talking about some of these aspects of it. Another competitor of Deloitte, and their research says that 10% of demand for labor in 2030 would be very different for professions than what exists today. So these are realities. It's our own normal sample of corporates talking about it. And think about where we stand today as a country on the other side of it. 12 million people getting passed or completing their courses from different institutions. I was about to say passed out, which is not the right choice. So that's why I stopped a little bit. So 12 million, it's not a small number. By 2020, India would be the youngest supplier of youth to the world. Not the working population, but youngest nation. 70% of the jobs in IT industry, which is kind of the backbone of the country's GDP today, their jobs would become redundant. So start to think about some of these challenges which are ahead of you. And I'm sure by now your mind is spinning that, hey, is management needed or this is all about technology? Is that a question on your mind? Yeah? Okay. So I thought I'll bring in another quote for you. The same Elon Musk, the Neuralink guy says, yes, excessive automation at Tesla was a mistake. To be precise, my mistake. Humans are underrated. And this is his tweet when he could not produce the Model 3 enough quantities of what was needed because he thought automation will take care of it and he can do the supplies, and he could not fulfill the demand. So if you go and look at Tesla factory videos, you'll be amused to look at how much of automation is there and what all can happen. But this is the same Elon Musk. So if this is what is happening around, then the job which you people have of what Professor Christie Father Christie was saying just a few minutes back, that I don't know what I'm preparing people for. They get placed very quickly, and I don't know what happens. What do they do? What are we doing? I think this is what is happening if you look at it as a phenomena. So if you think about hard skills and soft skills at a broad level, which you prepare people for, or what corporate needs for their work, there are 5 generations at work at this point in time, and this 5-headed monster is ensuring that your jobs are getting interchanged with what corporates are doing. Have you seen or have you noticed that flip? So if you start to think about your challenges and say, hey, what do I train people on? What do I do with this population? What do corporates need? Your roles are interchangeable now between hard skills and soft skills. And you can create any kind of a program thinking about these 2 parameters and say, hey, what would be needed out there? So I thought that I'll take a little bit of a stab at what my gurus have done in the past. So I went back to the famous guru in Industrial Revolution 4 and his famous equation on E equal to mc square. And I'm not a physicist, and I'm not going to use his equation in the context of physics, but this is just to provoke your thinking. And the world of management always produces not just data, but they also produces framework for people to appreciate it in a nice way, right? So if it's not a 2x2 matrix, doesn't work. And everything has to work North Star. So I've ensured that my graph doesn't cover North Star. So if I look at E equal to mc square for you to think about it, the struggle corporate or academia both have is for them to think about how do we collaborate? What do we ask for? And a lot of you in your courses, if you think about the strategy courses in particular, you'll ask one question, or you'll train your people on one question. Ask the right question. Are you really asking that right question of your corporate partners? Of what you need? Are you asking what are the challenges they're really dealing with on a day-to-day basis? And somewhere there is a struggle on that. So I thought I'll take a small stab at it and give you some ideas to think about it. So if you think about E equal to mc square and think about the 4 key stakeholders which you're working with on a day-to-day basis, it's student, your topmost priority, And if I look at the Educator 4.0 and their role, it's mindfulness, which the chair spoke about a few minutes back, that, yoga instructors, and curiosity. And how do you use those in context? So when you go back to corporate and think about your asks, you think about, how do I generate curiosity in the classrooms or while they are at the campus? You think about alumni, and all of you run alumni programs. My equation for you as an Educator 4.0 is very simply meaningfulness and connection. So why am I connecting with that alumni? What is my purpose of asking him or her to be at my campus or be as part of my engagement activity and deliver what needs to be delivered? Faculty, we had a long debate just a session back on that. Multidisciplinary is the ask of the day, and then you think about creativity. As much as you think about your citations and papers, you also need to think about, hey, how you're thinking about the challenges. And if you're thinking about institution, whether it's private, public, promoter-led, whatever, it's all about mindset and change management and how you drive that change back in the institutions you run. So that's my take on how you think about that particular challenge. I know I've specifically not given you North Star here for you to run after, because every one of you are at different stages in your journey. The problems you are trying to solve are very unique to you, and you need to just think about how this can be used just to provoke that thinking in that particular direction. I'm not saying this is the final suggestion, but that said, this journey can go along. Now, what is my organization doing to support that endeavor at this stage? So we run 4 marquee programs, and these 4 marquee programs are specifically centered around academia collaboration. Empowered Educator, we run this program in 4 locations. We bring in people who are multidisciplinary. So we don't bring in people only from B school. There's an engineering school. There is a graduate school leaders also as part of it. And we engage them on topics which are centered around future. Some of you who are here have participated in those programs of mine. Dean Summit, we do every year at Hyderabad. Again, close to around 70 of you come in there. Again, multidisciplinary, ensure that there's topics which get discussed out there, which are very, very different, very current to the times. Transition Lab is a standalone individual coaching, mentoring program for a transitioning dean. So if you want to kind of go ahead and build in a strategy for yourself for a year, and you are taking that role anew, we enable that for you. But this is very exclusive, very, very, 101, and it's driven by invitation. Bridge is focused on faculty development, because we realized that it's a very important component of that overall wheel, which needs to be bridged. So specific topics which are more current in nature, that's what we will be. We will kind of run that session, ensure that the faculty is there at our facility, and we kind of walk them through caselets to think about those challenges. All of this at our last Dean Summit, which we had in the month of April, the conversation was focused around future. We talked about 4 key topics up there. Some of you who are here have attended that event. The 4 topics were future of education, future skills for academicians, future future skills, and then we had another paper on future of workforce. And the 4th topic was centered around how do you reimagine the power of alumni and work on it. So all those 4 topics, we've ran through multiple labs around it. You participated, you've given your inputs to us, and we're now translating all of that in a form of paper, 4 different papers on these topics, and I'm sure all of you should have access to it once we start to publish them in middle of August. So that's Deloitte contribution back to this whole challenge of thinking through Educator 4.0 in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. Thank you.